After a pretty decently sized break, we're back with Season 2 of the P3 podcast, and the number 2 is going to be a little bit more significant here this season because we're going to be focusing on dual sport athletes. So you'll hear the balance between the sports and how their life field is inside of those practices, similarities and differences. And to start it off, we have the dual sport soccer and lacrosse star, Lauren Kennedy. Lauren, welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you for having me.
So Lauren and I go way back since, third grade, right?
Yeah.
Third grade. We've been in tons of classes together and we ended up at the same high school. So we know a lot about each other and decided to talk on the podcast, but it's on something that we didn't really know much, and that's life within sports. So first we're going to start, Lauren, how did you start both in soccer and in lacrosse?
Okay, so for soccer, I've been playing a lot longer than I've been playing lacrosse, but I started soccer and when I was 3 years old, I started playing in Carmel Dad's Club, and I really fell in love with the sport, and I loved it so much that I wanted to play club when I got older, but I started to try out for teams, and I started trying out for Carmel FC, and I got cut 2 years in a row because I'm old for my grade. They used to do it with your birthday, and so I fell with the older girls, so I would always have to be playing with girls above my age, and I just always just didn't make the cut, and I would be so upset about it. But then they changed the rules so that it was grade level, or I don't know, they changed birthday date or something, and so then I was playing with girls that were in my grade, and I made the team, and I played all throughout middle school and stuff, which was really fun. And then I played in high school, and that went well. And then for lacrosse, I started playing my freshman year, during the spring season, and I did that because there was a bunch of upperclassmen above me, and they were you gotta try it, you've played soccer and basketball, so it'd be the perfect sport for you. And so I gave it a shot, and then COVID hit, and then I didn't really get a season, but I ended up playing club that summer, and I learned all the fundamentals and everything, and it went really well, and then I really liked the sport.
Yeah, lacrosse, I didn't think much of it coming into high school, but the program has really grown, both in club, different club teams, and the Brebeuf program itself. There are a ton of people who join the program without any experience.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem to matter because so many people are doing that, it kind of evens out along the teams, and there's a lot of improvement within teams too. So it's a growing sport, which I really like to see.
Right.
Going back to soccer, so we both went to a huge public middle school, and it's Creekside Middle School, and our grade itself was about 600 people. And since soccer is such a popular sport for young kids growing up, there wasn't a soccer team at Creekside because there's just no way they would have been able to field a team. So is that why you started club, is because you weren't able to play in middle school?
Yeah. So I don't know why they didn't have a soccer team during middle school, but that was always kind of weird to me because it was so popular. But yeah, a lot of people in the grades or the middle schools around Carmel, they all played for Carmel FC. It was kind of a thing. It kind of, the club team itself kind of died out as we got older, but in 6th grade, it was the prime era of Carmel FC. So that's
it's really ironic too because our middle school was right next to a giant soccer facility.
Yeah.
I think it was a Carmel FC facility.
Yeah.
And they're the only time we went on there was in gym class.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was so funny because there were so many people who were asking for a soccer team and wanted to play soccer for middle school. Because playing for your school is different. It just has a different feeling to it. But yeah, the club teams are definitely helpful in that middle schools don't have soccer teams. But you did play basketball in middle school, right?
I did.
Yeah.
I played basketball was my main sport. I thought for a while I liked it more than soccer, and I did travel and everything in elementary school, and then I played in middle school, and that was really fun. I loved middle school basketball. But then I got to freshman year, and I wanted to give lacrosse a try, so I dropped basketball because I thought 3 sports would be too much just for my first year out of high school, and so I just wanted to see how it would go, and if I didn't like it, I'd pick basketball back up. But
that's the beauty of intramurals.
Exactly.
We were talking before the show, and that I just came out of an intramural basketball game. I'd never played basketball, organized basketball in my life, but I can now claim that I have a 100% shooting percentage, 1 for 1 from the field, and I will stick with that. But you played last year and you're playing again this year. So
Yes.
did that kind of like settle your need for basketball again? Is it enough, or do you still have the urge to kind of go back to school basketball?
I've been back and forth about wanting to play basketball again. I really do miss it, but last year, like intramural, it was so fun, and I did pretty good. Like my team was like decent. Like we actually like were like hitting threes and everything.
There was one game where you just went off from three. I don't remember who it was against, but
Yeah.
it was great.
I know, and that like made me want to play again. And then all the social studies teachers, they all go to the intramural games, so they would like call me in their office. They're like, "You got to play next year," and like stuff like that. And I was like, I'll think about it. But like I still do miss it. And then this year, I'm gonna be the boys basketball manager.
Okay.
Because I feel like I still want more basketball implemented into my life, but like I don't necessarily like want to play. So I feel like that would be like a little good thing for me.
I think the best part about intramurals is that the only people in the crowd are students who like you just see like right after the game in the hallways. Like
Right.
they're so interested in just seeing like their peers play because it's not something that many people have seen before. And it was a really weird feeling for me because I played basketball all the time with my friends, like pickup games, but I'd never played in front of people. And at first I was really nervous, but like coming into the game, I didn't know what to think. But as I was settled in after a little bit of a rough start, but like hearing the crowd go after I banked a three over Aiden Wade in the corner.
Oh,
that's why I'm so like he did land on my foot, so I could call it a 4-point play, but I'm not going to. That is my first organized basketball and only organized basketball made shot, and it was just a really surreal feeling because it's so different than a pickup game.
Yeah.
Like the crowd behind.
Yeah, I'm always so nervous before intramural games because I feel like it's like your whole school like feels like they're there, and then you're just like, oh gosh.
There's
like,
a lot of judgment
yeah,
that you
there
feel.
is a lot of judgment. But it's always so nice because like after you like walk in the halls, like you'll get like compliments from people. Like people who are like, you're actually good at basketball.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, it's a hidden talent.
I feel like Michael Garver has made an appearance on every episode of this, and it's going to happen again. So last period of the day after the game, we were in AP research, and our teacher like paused a little bit to change something on the screen, and our class was dead silent. And Garver goes, "Hey, nice shot, Plaskoff. I didn't know you were a shooter." I'm like, okay, well, see, because I'm always like announcing the games. Nobody ever knows how I play.
Right.
And that was really interesting.
Yeah, it's so fun to like get feedback from the game.
And it's like freshman year, I played baseball, and it got canceled because of COVID, so nobody saw me play there either. So that was the first time people have ever seen me play like from here, play
Right.
anything other than like gym class.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. So going on that with like environments, this is from the students, but within your teams, like what was it like the environment in the lacrosse program versus the soccer program? It's a different crowd of people and different like type of sport, different pacing. How like what were the differences between those two environments in your teams?
Yeah, okay, so it is completely different. Like I do get like completely different vibes from like both teams. Like soccer is obviously like in like the warmer months. So it's like we can do like a lot more like team building things because we can like be outside and like we can like tie-dye shirts and stuff, and like we also have like these things called like pasta dinners. So like postseason, like before a big game, like sectionals or something, or even like Marion County, we go to someone's house and we have a ton of pasta and to get like the carbs in before the game.
Yep.
Yeah, and those are always so fun because they're just like a great way to like bond with the team and like before a big game especially, and like eat good before a game. So that's like different because we don't do that for lacrosse, but I really love doing that and I wish we did that for lacrosse. And then we also have like our scavenger hunt for soccer, and that's fun because like the boys team does it too.
Yeah, I was talking about that with Jake and Stefan, and a lot of interesting stories came out of that, which they could not tell me on this.
Yeah, it's definitely a fun time, and we just have like some other like traditions that we do. But lacrosse, like it starts in like colder months, so like there's like some practices that are just very cold, and that's all I can think about during practice is just like how cold I am. So like sometimes it's not even like I don't know. Like soccer, I feel like some practices we like can be kind of like unfocused, but we're still like focused. I don't know. I guess like soccer, I feel a lot more pressure, like to be like really good at it. And like during games, I just feel like more pressure. Like I'm like more scared to like mess up and everything. Whereas like in lacrosse, like it seems a little bit more laid back in a way, and it's really fun because a lot of girls in my grade do it.
Yeah.
And we've been doing it since like freshman year and stuff. And then like I just like don't like if I make a mistake during a lacrosse game, I'll just like not think about it as long as I do if I make one in like soccer.
And is it different also because you're a captain on the soccer team? Does it give you a little added pressure there?
Yeah, definitely. And especially like senior year, like you just feel like you need to like play harder. You need to like set a good example for like young players and everything like that. But yeah, definitely there's a lot more pressure there.
Yeah. What goes into your duties as a captain?
So for captains for soccer, like the main thing that we do is like during our like warm-ups, the refs call over the captains and we like meet the other captains from the other team, and then we have like a coin flip to see like who starts off with the ball first and like who gets like what side. And that's like kind of like one of the biggest things like that we like do because like they'll call over captains. But I also think that being a captain on a field, you have to set like a good example for your team, and you're just kind of like the vocal person if like you need to talk to the ref or something. Usually the captain will talk to him, and you also just like have to set it like kind of like if the ref is like watching your team and he like usually focuses on like what the captains are doing. If the captain is being like respectful and everything, he'll think of your like team as being like respectful. So it kind of just like you gotta just like set the scene.
Yeah, kind of lets off some slack for people who aren't captains though,
Right.
and that they can kind of, not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's kind of like an acting job in a way.
Yeah, it is.
I'm sure there are probably points where you want to.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. I remember we were at the boys state game.
Uh-huh.
Also, congrats to the boys soccer team.
Yes.
2-time state champions back to back. If you want to learn about them, go listen to our episode with Jake and Stefan. But the student section was not happy with the referees, and neither was the coaching staff or the players on the field. But I took a look at some of the seniors, like when that was happening, like Jake and Stefan and Josh, and they were trying to keep their team under control and keep their mind right to like, because it was a back and forth game, and that I noticed really helped them start to, succeed. And that's when Wade made that save with his one hand, and then Ben scored, and eventually we ended up 2-time state champions. So, unfortunately, you guys were not able to make it to state, but still 2 solid runs back to back.
Yes.
What do you have anything to like reflect on over those past 2 seasons? Because you were very high ranked for majority of both of them. And I don't even know if the year before that, those 2, and the year before that, like our freshman year.
Yeah.
Our girls soccer program has been extremely successful in recent years. So do you have anything that you can like reflect on those past few years?
So my junior year, last year, we made it to semi-state, and that's like the farthest I've gone since I've been here. But that was just like a really awesome experience because just having such a like long postseason just really gets you like close with like your teammates, just having like that extra part of like the season, I guess, and like having all the pasta dinners and everything like that. But it was so much fun, and just having that like kind of like winning streak and like getting like the trophies and everything. It was just such a like awesome experience to have, and I'm so grateful for it. But I obviously like wanted to like go to state at some point, and it was like, even though we didn't, it was still so much fun, and we all had a blast. And like, yeah, we were like disappointed, but like I feel like last year like we were like really wanted it for this year, so like each game kind of felt like we were playing to like make it up from like last year and like not winning. And we just got unlucky with our sectional game with the Chatard. But I don't like want to like blame it on anything, but like we did get 2 goals called back in that game, and that was just kind of frustrating because I feel like I would rather lose, for actually, losing or, losing during PKs than having, 2 goals called back.
Yeah, it's kind of, emotionally draining.
Yeah.
There was one in the state game on Saturday, right? Saturday? Mm-hmm. It's been a while. I think it might have been Quinn who scored, and it was called back for a handball. And you could just see they started celebrating, and then they heard the whistle, and everyone's face just went dead. And that's does that happen a lot? That was the only soccer game I've been to. So
I mean, some do get called back for offsides and stuff.
Yeah.
But there are some times, especially in our game and the boys' game, that it's just the tiniest little thing that they call, because I didn't even see the ball go off of Quinn's hand.
Yeah.
I thought it was called because he was on the ground or something.
There was a huge pile of people on the ground.
Yeah,
but
know. It's just it's really frustrating as a team because you think it's going it went in, and you start celebrating, and the other team's upset because it went in, and then all of a sudden the ref just makes the call that it is no goal, and everyone's just in pure shock.
Yeah.
And so it's just it's such a weird feeling, and it kind of just brings down the momentum, because the first time you score, you get so much momentum going, and then you just kind of click as a team. So having 2 goals called back in our sectional game, I feel our team really lost our momentum, because we're just oh my, this is so annoying, and we're just kind of more upset than wanting to get back and keep going.
Yeah. And was it difficult for the rest of that game to kind of control emotions within the team?
For sure.
Yeah, and that kind of controls play too.
Right.
They're both connected, emotions and physical play.
Mm-hmm.
In the sport, so I've played baseball my entire life up until freshman year, and nothing like that really happens other than maybe a foul ball home run where it's close.
Mm-hmm.
But for certain that once you do something, it's not going to get called back.
Right.
And I've never been in that position like you were in that game against Jotard.
Mm-hmm.
But I can kind of picture how frustrating that would be, because there's nothing you can do about it, and you just think you're right.
Right.
Does that kind of thing also happen in lacrosse?
Yeah, lacrosse is different. The girls' rules are completely different than the guys' rules, and we are kind of they don't really a lot of contact in girls' lacrosse, I guess, even though it is contact, we push around each other and stuff. But there's things that they're very particular on, that there's times where you'll score a goal, but then they'll call this thing called shooting space. So then you have to do an 8-meter shot, which is kind of a free throw for basketball, I guess. But if you miss that shot and you still made the one before that, then you don't get a goal. So it's kind of just frustrating.
And why would what situation would that be called?
I guess it's mostly on offense, but then sometimes it's could be in favor of us if we're on defense and we do that.
Well, is it if you are shooting too close to the goalie crease, or
it's it's kind of hard to explain, but it's if the defender goes into your shooting space while you're shooting, and they slide in, it's called shooting space, and then you have
so kind of like a foul in a way.
A little bit.
Okay. And then there's no way you can avoid just keeping that goal if it goes in. You have to shoot. Okay. Mm-hmm. I'm not very educated on my lacrosse, so this is good. Good for me. And in your high school career, has it been difficult to balance? They're in 2 completely different sets of seasons, but has it still been different to balance lacrosse and soccer? Because both involve running, but that's pretty much, running and goal scoring is pretty much all that's similar between the 2.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's a little bit hard to balance because, well, not super bad, but I play club lacrosse in the summer, and then I start my soccer practices in the summer. So I'll have 2 practices a day, which is the only time it kind of overlaps for me. So sometimes I'm really tired in the summer because I have to balance both of those sports. But as for the school season, it's not really hard to balance, but after soccer season, I still want to like focus on soccer because I just like am like in a soccer mode that I don't really want to go to like lacrosse practice if it's like starting. Like I just want to like have some time off. But we do like start like lacrosse practices like right now, so I only have like a few like weeks in between to like kind of like rest. But it's nothing like intense right now, so it's like pretty laid back. But still, I just kind of like wish I was still like playing soccer and like yeah. So that's like the only thing.
Like practices in soccer and lacrosse, like is one more intense than the other, or is one more laid back?
Soccer, we definitely do. I feel like we do more conditioning to like run and stuff. I feel like I get like more in shape in soccer than I do in lacrosse, and so like when I go to lacrosse practice, I'm like already like perfectly fine because of soccer. Yeah. But like I think it's just like the difference in my coaches, because my soccer coach, she's awesome. She's a lot more strict on us than I feel like my lacrosse coach is. I feel like he's a little bit more laid back. But I also like how she is strict because it makes us better players. And like, not saying that like Coach Nick doesn't make us better players by not being like strict, but I just wish he kind of like got mad at us more to like want to like do better, especially like in games, because we'll like lose games and he won't like make it the biggest deal in the world, but like if we lose in soccer, it's like the biggest deal in the world, no matter like how early in the season it is.
What was your record this season? Do you remember?
Gosh, I don't know, but we did really well.
Yeah, I know you were ranked at least in the top 5 in the state.
We did really, really well. I think we only lost like 2 games. We tied 2 games, and then I don't know how many we won.
Last year, as a collective school, our sports teams were just going insane. I think we had 5 state championships.
Yeah.
And then you guys made it to semi-state. We had baseball state runner-up, football state runner-up. And they ran out of room for banners in the gym. They had to start on a new wall. I really have seen like the growth in the Brebeuf sports program throughout my 4 years. Like when I came here, like you as well, my like the other school I would have gone to was Carmel. And Carmel has state championships like nobody's ever seen. And I didn't really think the Brebeuf sports program was like comparable because I was comparing it to Carmel. But starting these past few years, it's really been on the rise. And for a small private school, I think that's really admirable.
For sure.
We're going to head into a fun section now.
Okay.
And we're going to do some superlatives from both your teams.
Okay.
I didn't prepare any, but we're going to think of some on the spot. So first is who is the funniest on both the soccer team and the lacrosse team?
Okay, so for soccer, I definitely think it's Mia Winters. I feel like she has been the funny one since like freshman year. She just does like random things during practice that makes everyone laugh, and it's just like she just has such a witty like sense of humor and stuff, and she's just like, oh, like coaches know that she's like the like goofy one, that she'll be like the class clown of like the soccer team and stuff. But yeah, she's funny. And then for lacrosse, it's definitely Josie Esposito.
I saw that coming.
Yeah, she's just like all over the place, but like in a good way. Like she's funny, but it's like we just have so many like jokes with like Josie and stuff, and it's so fun.
Okay, next one is who are like the most inseparable duo?
I feel like this year for soccer, it was honestly me and Izzy, because I feel like we were like, everyone like knew us as like the duo, but there's also just like other duos. I feel like honestly the seniors this year at soccer, all of us were like super close with each other, so like as a whole, like it was awesome. But I'm also like really good friends with like, I like also like the whole team's awesome, but I think Josie and Rowan, like Josie Studley and Rowan Pearl, they're pretty inseparable. And then there's some sophomores in there, but yeah, I think those are like the most like dominant pairs. But for lacrosse, you have Dakota.
Yep, that's
Dakota
what I was
twins.
thinking. That's what I had in my head.
Yeah, they're awesome on midfield, and so I feel like they're kind of a dynamic duo because they like use their like twin telepathy on the field. I swear, like they'll do some plays, and I'm like, whoa, like that was twin. that was
Yeah, they are so close to each other. Like, I'm not very close with my brother. Like, yeah, we are friends with each other, but the Coda twins are really, like, genuinely best friends. And that seems to help them out on the lacrosse field because they are really good.
100%.
Let's see. Who would be most likely to go pro?
Okay, so for soccer, I think Josie Studley. She's awesome. She's super, super good. And I've been saying it since we did like the Brebeuf soccer camp in the summer when I was like in 7th grade and she was like in 6th grade. So I've known her for a while. And like even then I was like, this girl is going to be so good one day. And so I think she'll definitely go pro. And even I think, honestly, our goalkeeper, SP, Sophia Bain, I think she could do it. I think she could go pro. And then I also think for lacrosse, I think Dakotas have potential to go pro.
Do you know if they're looking at colleges for lacrosse?
I feel like they said, I feel like I've definitely heard them say that, but I don't know if they've decided yet.
Where are you looking?
I am looking at Wisconsin and IU.
Big Ten?
Yeah, definitely somewhere like in the Midwest. I feel like a big school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you have been a diehard IU fan for like ever.
Yes, I have.
It's kind of waning a bit because football season's a bit rough. But I don't know if I've said this on here, but Syracuse is a mile ahead in my college search, but it's a matter of how much money I get. So if I don't go there, then I'll go to IU, which I'm perfectly happy with. I've been there all my life. I know what it's like.
Same.
And it's just a good, like, large Big Ten school with a lot of stuff going on. So wherever I end up, I'm happy, and I'm sure hopefully it works the same for you.
Yes, yeah.
Did you ever think about playing either of your sports in college or no?
Maybe when I was little, but I feel like when I got into high school, I kind of just wanted to, I didn't think I would like have, I bet if I like worked hard enough, I could like possibly like go somewhere to play a sport, but I've always just wanted to go to a school to like, for the school and like academically just like go for the school and like go for its like environment and stuff, because I've always looked at like big schools and I've always like really wanted to go to like a big school. So I guess I never really like thought about it once I was like in high school, but I feel like when I was little I really thought I was like gonna go someplace with like basketball or something.
Did you have was IU like your dream school back then?
Oh,
or was it
100%.
Yeah.
I would follow the girls, the IU girls basketball team, and I was like, I'm gonna be on this team one day and stuff like that.
Yeah, they were in the Final Four last year.
Yeah, they've
really
been
good
doing
season.
great. Yeah. They're
I think
awesome.
both the men's and women's team there are going to be
I'm
really good
so
this year.
excited for the guys basketball this year.
I wasn't able to watch their exhibition game against Marion. I mean, granted, it was Marion, but I heard the freshmen were really good. And it's just a whole different atmosphere with Mike Woodson as the head coach because he knows what he's doing.
The suit.
Yeah. And that win against Purdue
Oh,
last
I was
year.
at that game.
Oh, you were?
Yes, it was so much fun.
That was, I believe, Jaden Ivey's three at the end of the game went off the rim. And,
it did.
Yeah. And then everyone stormed the court.
Yeah, and then Finnessy hit that shot right before.
Yeah, big shot, Rob. Yep, that's where that was born. Did you go on the court after the game or no?
I didn't. I was like too high up, but like I celebrated big time, and there was these Purdue fans behind us, and they were kind of like chirping us the whole time and like just saying things, and like my dad and I were just like not having it with them.
Yeah.
And Rachel was there with me, and we're just like, oh my god, these Purdue fans are so annoying. And right after Ivy like missed the shot and everyone started rushing the court, the Purdue fans behind us were nowhere to be found.
Yep.
Like they left so fast.
I was at I think it was last weekend maybe. I went to the Pacer game and they were playing the Pistons, so it was Jaden Ivey. And there were so many bandwagon Pistons fans with Ivy jerseys on. It was unbelievable.
Oh my
and
gosh.
like I probably heard louder cheers when Ivy scored than when the Pacers scored. It was Purdue fans are just,
unreal.
something else. I mean, my dad does work there now, but still not a fan of them.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Do you have any like funny stories or like memories from either the soccer season or the lacrosse season, like like, I don't know, in the past few years that were just like stand out to you as one of the funniest or most memorable things that you've experienced?
So I have a funny lacrosse story. I think it was my sophomore year, I'm pretty sure. There was this game, and it was like sleeting outside, and it was so cold, like the coldest day ever. It was like in April, though. It was like early April.
Welcome to Indiana.
Exactly. And it was like hailing, and it was like honestly like just horrible outside. And all of the other games around like Indiana, like around Indianapolis and stuff, they all got canceled. But our coach didn't want to cancel ours. He was like, you guys can do it, because the team we were playing, they came pretty like, they were like 45 minutes away from us, and they already drove here. So he was like, let's just get the game done. We can have like a running clock and like stuff like that. And all my friends, like all my teammates, they had all like sweatpants that they could wear under their like lacrosse skirt like during the game, because like the ref was letting us like kind of like bundle up during the game. And me and Josie Esposito, we did not bring pants. We didn't have anything to wear under our skirts, and it was so cold. I think both of us started crying even before the game started, because we were like thought we got frostbite. So anyway, during the game, like the first couple minutes, I asked my coach if I could get like subbed out because I was so cold. And so I go out to the sideline, and I go up to my coach, my assistant coach, her name's Coach Kat. And I go up to her, I'm like, can I please just like go in the locker room and find someone's pants? I don't care who they are, like I just need them, because my legs were like purple at this point. They like hurt so bad. So I'm running into the like locker room. I'm just like running to like, you know, the doors that you like go in and out. And you know the like locker room floor, or like by the locker room, it's like a cement floor kind of. Okay, so my like cleats were wet, and I like just didn't really think about it. And the whole baseball team was like walking in from like practice or something, or like I don't know. They were just like coming in. They were like, "Oh, like what are you doing? Like you're in the middle of a game." I was like, "Oh, like don't worry about it." And I was like crying. And I was like running in, and I forgot my cleats were wet, and I fell so hard on the like cement, and I started like sliding, and all of the like baseball boys saw it, and I was so embarrassed. I just like, ran to the locker room. And, like, later, I think, like, one of them, like, texted me, and they're like, are you okay?
Yeah.
And that was just...
I mean, that even when you're not wearing cleats, more wet cleats, like, it's still slippery if you're just wearing regular shoes.
100%. But that was so funny, like, looking back on it. Like, at the time, I was, like, mortified. But, like, looking back on it, that was so funny.
Yeah. And you got to be careful with the baseball boys, though. Because I was with them for a year, my freshman year, and I've been around them since then because I announced their games. They can be really funny. Like, their personalities, I don't know when it was. Like, I know a couple of people graduated last year, like Chase Golden and, who else? Dukanich. They were just so funny. But they can take it a little bit too far.
Right.
I can imagine in your situation that was a bit rough. But big question was, do you remember if you won that game or not?
Oh my goodness, I'm pretty sure we did.
Okay, that's all that matters.
Yeah, it was horrible. But it was so bad outside. And MJH still came and took pictures of us. I was like, he's awesome.
Yeah. I see him everywhere, and he does stuff for different schools, but like credit to him. Like, he takes really good pictures, and he also like puts a lot of effort into getting here and doing it like all the time.
Yeah, he's awesome. His wife trains me in soccer.
Oh,
so
really?
like over the summers and stuff, she like works with me because I don't like play club soccer because I do lacrosse. So I just like need to like work on like my skills while everyone's like on my soccer team's like doing club and getting that extra practice in. I just do things with her like outside of it.
I remember, this is going way back. I think it might have been 7th grade. It was the same kind of situation, like really stormy, like cold. And you guys were on the way back from a basketball game. And your bus, like, I don't know if it crashed or it got crashed into.
Yeah. That was
and then you guys were like stranded there for a while.
Yeah, that was crazy. We were coming from Hamiltonites, and I don't know what happened, but I think a car hit us, and we, like, our, like, wheel of the bus like fell off, and it like started rolling down the highway. And we all were like, you know, like thinking that like we are just like gotten a huge crash and stuff, and we're all freaking out because it was like the 8th grade team and the 7th grade team on the bus, and we were all like freaking out, and we like just saw the car that hit us like spin around and like Mr. Kirch like went and like checked on the guy like who hit us and stuff. But we were like on the side of this road, and there was like a big hill that went off. So we all had to get to one side of the bus because our bus was like tipping because we didn't have a wheel on that one side. So if we didn't like all like go over to that one side of the bus, like the bus could have like fell down into like that ditch, and it would have been so bad.
Yeah.
But I just remember that they let us like skip half the school day the next day because they like felt bad and everything. And I just remember we like all of us like played it up so much of it being like this huge like thing. But it honestly was scary at the time. But yeah,
that was lucky. The big talk of the next like couple weeks.
Oh yeah,
at Creekside. I mean, at Creekside, like there's so many people that like once something spreads, it's never gonna stop.
Right, exactly.
And that was concerning when I first heard it. But yeah, that was something that stood out to me.
Yes.
Let's see. Do you have like one of a story of like the most meaningful moment in your sports career, that like something that stood out to you that like really impacted you?
Okay, so I have never been like the top like goal scorer or anything, and I played defense my freshman and sophomore year, and then I got moved up to like midfield my junior year, and I started playing more midfield, and then this year I just played center midfield the whole time. But in my last game, the Shatar game, our very last game, I scored the goal that Brebuff got, and I only scored like one goal this year, and it was against like a pretty bad team that we like mercy ruled, and so like that, I mean, it was like, yay, like I scored, because I never really like scored during like a game, but I was like having that goal in my like very last soccer game of like my whole life. Like I've been playing since I was 3. And to have that like goal in the last game, even though we like lost, I still like was just so happy that I got to have that.
Yeah.
Because like I knew that like after like that game, I probably wouldn't like play like real like soccer again. So it was like kind of just like mixed emotions. Like I was just really like, you know, like sad like that it was my last game, and like because I've been playing my entire childhood. But to have that like one moment for myself, like that last game, that was just really special to me.
I kind of have a similar thing. I was expecting to play baseball freshman year, but it turned out that 8th grade was my last year playing baseball. And in the last game of the season, we were playing Clay, which was our like arch rival. And I think, I'm not 100% sure this is all right, because it was like 4 years ago. But I believe we were up by 1 in the bottom of the 7th. There were 7-inning games. And there were 2 runners on, and I got put in to close the game, and I ended up doing it. And that being my last game was like really, because there was no playoffs. That was like, that was it. That will go down as the last like baseball moment I will ever have. At least playing like in the booth. I'll hopefully have more for like, I don't know, 4 or 5 decades. But that was really a special moment because I played since 4 years old. So just being able to like, it was also like symbolic, like putting an end to it by closing the game, like putting it into my career, which was kind of cool. But yeah, that was one of the most meaningful moments in my sports career. And there are a lot of them. It's very easy to find memorable moments because sports are just like a symbolic, like you can find hidden meanings in basically everything. So your soccer career may be over, but do you have any advice for people who are either on the come up or like wrapping it up themselves?
I guess my like advice is just to like if they make a mistake during a game, I feel like a lot of players on our team like overthink, just to not like get in your head kind of, and just like you work from that mistake, and just to like work hard during practice and take practice as like make it fun but like serious at the same time, because like I want the team to like keep making like themselves like better, and I know that they can have such good potential to like win state these next couple years, and I just like want them to like work hard but also have so much fun, because those like fun moments and those like fun things that we do as a team are some that I remember more than I remember like some games in my past years. So just like creating like a nice and fun environment for like the younger players and just like becoming friends with like underclassmen. Like this year I became really good friends with a lot of the sophomores on the team, and that's so special to me because I like still like talk to them and I can like give them rides to places because they can't really drive yet, but just to like make it just like a fun environment for all of them.
And last thing, do you have any shout outs that you'd like to give?
Yes. Well, I shout out my whole soccer team and my whole lacrosse team, but specifically my coaches, because Coach Nick taught for lacrosse, he taught me how to play and like how to be a good player and a leader. And then Coach Angela, she made me an overall better player. Like I came into rough thinking that I wasn't like very good at soccer at all, and she just made me in such a like confident player, which I feel like coaches throughout my whole life have been trying to work on like my confidence as a player, and I think she's done a really good job and has made the most impact on me with that. And I also want to shout out MJH for taking the best pictures from both my teams, and his wife for training me. Her name's Raina. She's awesome. And yeah, that's it.
Okay. Well, that'll put an end to episode 1 of season 2 here, covering dual sport athletes on P3. So until then, we will see you next time with another dual sport athlete.